Janga. Fadelo. Ulamfai. Batramba.
Hello, this is Bunton Cole with a vision for Africa. We need to look into our history, identify and learn from our past mistakes in our efforts at building a brighter future for Mother Africa. Last week, we looked at the history of how the modern religions of Christianity and Islam came to Africa. In this program, we'll look at the spread of Islam, education, commerce and arts across Africa and Africa's influence on Europe before colonialism. This account of the history of Africa is based on the series entitled Africa's Great Civilization, compiled and presented by Professor Henry Louis Gates on BBC Channel 4. Today, I'll talk to you about the spread of Islam across Africa, the development and influence of higher institutions of learning, commerce, and arts from Africa on the rest of the world. We'll also look at the emergence of great empires and civilizations of Africa. In episodes 3 and 4, we looked at how Islam and Christianity replaced the old religions of Africa. We also looked at Ethiopia's role in reinforcing Christianity in Africa. Moving forward, I'll now start with the spread of Islam in Africa. Africa underwent great development between the 10th and the 15th century in both north and south of the Sahara. Marrakesh, Timbuktu, Ile-Ife, and indeed the Sahara made significant contributions to religion, education, commerce, and arts. Great empires like Ghana, Mali, and Ife also emerged over this 500-year period between the 10th and the 15th centuries. All this happened because of great scholars with great works of knowledge and leaders with great vision for expanding their empires. Abdullah ibn Yassin, a charismatic Islamic theologian from southern Morocco, transformed Marrakesh from just a commercial metropolis into a citadel of learning. Ibn Yassin was a barber from the desert of Arabia who launched his drive to transform North Africa into what he believed was the true Islam. He and his follower warriors, the Almoravids, were cruel in their quests and forced people to accept his form of Islamic doctrine through cruel punishments and even death. He first conquered the caravan city of Sijil Masa and forced the inhabitants to accept his strict form of Islam. He also brought trade and used his army to conquer the rest of North Africa across the Sahara into the old Ghana Empire in quest for gold. He introduced the camel as an easier mode of traveling across the desert. Camels were domesticated because they were built to withstand the harsh conditions of the desert, capable of traveling long distances on each drink of water from oasis to oasis, and capable of carrying heavy loads. The camel enabled the Berbers and traders to establish their trans-Saharan route. Trading in gold, salt, and slaves enabled the North to amass great wealth. The Sahel led to the main source of gold, that is the route. Adwa Gust in Mauritania was seized and enabled the Almoravids to control the gold trade by providing access to the gold in ancient Ghana. The possession of gold enabled her to become the middleman in the gold trade between West Africa and the North. The Senegal and Niger River system provided access via water into further south and west, and this facilitated the expansion of Ghana into the powerful empire it became. Ghana became extremely rich and powerful with a military force of over 200,000 soldiers on horseback, which made it easy for them to travel fast and far. Ghana first captured Agwedhurst and took control of the gold trade for over a century. Then in 1055, Ibn Yassin arrived and took Agwedhurst back from Ghana's control. The capture of Agwedhurst was brutal, and the whole city was violated and their soldiers enslaved. By 1068, Ghana began to decline and succumb to the forces of Islam. By 1100, that region was fully converted to Islam. The army expanded, and both the Saharan and sub-Saharan population were working in concert. Their leader, Ibn Yassin, was killed in battle in 1059 and succeeded by Yusuf ben Tazvin. Ben Tazvin moved north across the desert, seized the North African coast, and found the capital, Marrakesh, in 1070. Marrakesh became very successful and a great commercial city because of its location, which provided easy access to Europe and Asia. Commercial products were textiles, leatherwork, and gold. Marrakesh also became an architectural center. Great buildings were erected, among which was the Kuba, a masterpiece of architecture which was uncovered in 1947. The Kuba celebrated the greatest of Almoravid Empire. In an effort to help stop Christian expansion in Al-Andalus, southern Spain, Ben Tashvin seized Andalusian territory for himself, making him the supreme commander of that northern region from central Spain to southern Mauritania and from Lisbon to Algiers in Africa before his death in 1106. The Almoravid Empire declined after Ben Tashvin's death, and by 1120, a new group of Muslims had established a new empire, the Almohads, which used literacy to spread the word of Islam and established the city of Fez as a seat of Islamic learning. Fez became a global home for learning. It was the intellectual city of learning where students were based, and students in pursuits of higher learning went to acquire the equivalent of a doctorate degree. Fez became world-renowned throughout the Middle East and established as a center of science and mathematics. Fez has the Carawine, the world's oldest institution of higher learning, issuing medical and science degrees, and established in the 9th century, 2 centuries before Oxford and Cambridge, by one of 2 sisters who came from Carawine, Tunisia. The Carawine was endowed with more than 5,600 Arabic manuscripts. Treasures include writings like the volumes of Ibn Khaldun, a leading author. I'll now give you a brief history of Mali. A sister city was also established as a center of learning known as Timbuktu, with the Sankore Mosque, where leading students aspiring for the highest level of learning and education aspired to study mathematics, philosophy, astrology that were in demand all over Africa and Europe. Timbuktu was a principal city of learning in the Empire of Mali, which succeeded Ghana. Mali became the powerhouse of the time. Another important product that added to gold was salt, mined in the salt beds of the Sahara. Later, military actions and the demand for labor included slaves to the commodities of Mali. This was before the Great Atlantic slave trade. Here are some food for thought. 3/4 of the gold exported to North Africa came from Mali. The legendary emperor of Mali, Mansa Musa, was known by King Charles V of France. Gold from Mali became the gold standard of the world. Mali was probably the wealthiest kingdom in the world at that time. Mansa Musa was reputed to be the richest man who ever lived, valued in today's money at over $400 billion. In his pilgrimage to the holy city of Mecca, Mansa Musa is reputed to have carried some 12,000 slave women. Yes, 12,000. His generosity is reputed to have destabilized the economy of Cairo because the quantity of gold he distributed as presents caused the currency's value to collapse. During his travels, Musa invested in large amounts of books and recruited many scholars that he brought back home to Timbuktu, which enhanced its status as a center of learning. His aim was to diversify Mali's social basis and thereby strengthening its standing and status as a center of learning in the world. So he did some good for Africa. Before we go, let's look at a brief history of the empire of Ile-Ife. Ife in Nigeria emerged alongside Mali as a center of Nigerian arts and was recognized as a center of creativity. A reputation earned because of its extensive collection of arts, like the priceless Oni mask Oba Lufon II in the Museum of Nigeria. The artwork were metal-based, brass and copper, which required extremely advanced technology and skills to design and produce around that time. The Ife sculptures were far more magnificent and lifelike than those from Europe at the time. The degree of artistry in these works were far superior to those from Europe. Ife was rich and very advanced. Ife earned a reputation as the origin of all black people. Wole Soyinka, Nobel laureate of literature, stated that Ife is acknowledged as the origin of the black people. It is the spiritual home of black people. That's his claim. Ife's fame was facilitated by the vision of Oba Lufon II, thus his sculpture. The German ethnographer Leo Fabrinus, who discovered the Ife works of art, tried to claim that the Ife sculptures were by German artists. He found it hard to believe that Africans had the skills and intellectual capacity to produce such advanced and sophisticated works of art. Influenced by his mindset of colonialism and prejudice, of course. Another artwork that Ife was famous for was beads and jewelry. Rich empires of Ile-Ife, Mali and Timbuktu were linked by trading networks across Africa. Other dynamic and interconnected kingdoms linked through trade, learning and arts included the Swahili, Eastern Africa, Benin, West Africa, and Zimbabwe in the south. Time now for some more music before we end this episode. Back in the old days, when children were safe and happy, they would stay out in the backyard and play games with nursery rhymes like these in the evening. Enjoy nostalgic games.
I pass yonder, to the right, to the left. I go Vienna, come before. I go up, I come down. Nowhere. I go Bo, go Makeni, go Kailani. I come Poloko, come Freetown, go Kabbalah, go Ghana, and go Liberia. Nowhere. Venom.
I traveled the globe by air, sea and road. I seen a lot of beauty, but no place like home. If you came close, but not got me in the zone. Now only Sierra Leone, they make I feel an me bones. I feel an me waist bone. I feel an me backbone. I feel an me jawbone. Me day na me chromosome. I feel an me waist bone. I feel an me backbone. I feel an me jawbone. Me day na me chromosome. Zone. I remember the days when they play cage. Street they engage, nobody know they rage. Man they mago for take center stage. Team is sweet and team still sweet. Nowadays, couple act for feno. Where you get quick for dono. All and tight, all a mo. Before Anyambi, get and go. Enjoy your couple, spend a mo. You go see Doko, no they get and go. God bless you, now for make them know. You family friends, them men them oh. No place like home. I feel an amiibo. No place like home. I feel an me bone, no place like home. I feel an me bone. No place like home. I feel an me bone, no place like home. I feel an me bone.
Tell him, chalam. I know be know something butu tina panam. I tell him, talaba. I tell him, talaba. Tell him, chalam. Tell him, chalam. I know be know something butu tina panam. I tell him, talaba. I tell him, talaba. I tell him, talaba. Oh Lord.
Tell 'em, like play, now yeah we day. They like today, no sweet like day. Now so they say, the world they change day by day, money no day. Yeah, still here to stay, and we gon' find a way. Slow do flow, won't stop the play. Work hard, play hard, live every day. Cause live every day. No place like home. I feel an amiibo. No place like home. I feel an amiibo. No place like home. I feel an me boom. No place like home. I feel an me boom. No place like home. I feel an me boom.
Dori oh Dori Mama Kura jege by you fine Kuma. Go look good at you mother, go look good at you father. Come back, go at a logo England conference too. Oh Lord, I come in oh, go tell mama say, that's what we cook. Let us me yo, kill it you. I get ya nakam, I get ya nakam, I get ya nakam. Oh Lord, I get ya nakam. I come in oh, go tell mama say, that's what we cook. Let us me on, kill it you. I get ya nakam, I get ya nakam, I get ya nakam. Oh Lord, I get ya nakam. Woo. Jiggy Jig Skayama. Jiggy Jig Skayama. Oh Lord.
I hope you enjoy that song. It brings back fond memories of my childhood. That's why I recorded it. Next week, we'll look at the history of the great cities of gold. Until then, listen to all men, even the dull and the ignorant, for they too have their stories. Do unto others only that you have them do unto you. Until next week, stay blessed. Take care.
Modern law and business stronger. Father law